Hey y'all. This is I forget what the name of the waterfall is, but this is an actual waterfall and I love it. I think it's beautiful. Um, yeah, real pretty. Okay, let's talk about sexual narcissists. Now, there's different types of narcissists, and there are some narcissists that have multiple traits of the different types of narcissism. And what I mean is you can have let's use my previous friend as an example, the one that I've known ever since for a really long time. Okay. Very arrogant, very comes off as very sure of himself. And in reality, he's a narcissist and he's a communal narcissist, but he's also a sexual narcissist, and we will break those down. Communal narcissist means I need the public to know that I'm amazing. I have to be there for other people. I have to inconvenience myself for them because the goal is to have people admire me. When that person says, "Yeah, I needed to go to the hospital at 2 o'clock in the morning," and he got out of his bed and took me to the hospital. So what will people say? "Oh, wow, that's amazing. That's what you call a good friend." No, he's not a good friend. He sees women as your purpose in life is to sexually please me, and a lot of men have that mentality, but a lot of them are also narcissistic. So nobody owes you a piece of tail. Nobody owes you squat. But if you're a narcissist, your brain is broken. And if your brain is broken, you have a lot of unrealistic ideas in your head. So he's a communal narcissist. He's the type of person, if he was a multi-millionaire, which will never happen, but he would donate a massive check to a company so that they could just talk about him publicly and have him on TV, and he'd be grinning from ear to ear because he looks like the nicest guy in the world, when in reality he's doing it for attention and for attaboys. A sexual narcissist is someone who, and he's both, he's communal and a sexual narcissist. He sees people, especially women, as walking, talking sex toys. You owe me sex because you have a vagina. You owe it to me. And how dare you be selfish with it? If I talk to you, if I have a conversation with you, you owe me sex. Duh. Because that is their twisted mentality. And he even made a comment, which was very much a wake-up call for me, so far as I didn't know he was a narcissist at the time. I will never be involved with someone with this mentality. If he's involved with a woman and for some reason she's not in the mood, because guess what? Your partner doesn't always want you just because you want them. Let's just hit some real reality right now, okay? Let's just smack ourselves into reality and realize that a person may have a headache, a person may be stressed, a person may not feel well, okay? They may have the flu. The last thing you want to do is get laid. Okay, not everybody wants to lay you all the time, whether they're your partner or not. But his mentality, because he's cocky and arrogant and a narcissist and filled with entitlement, his attitude, he even said it. He said, if I'm with somebody and they don't want to do me, I'll do somebody else. That's not the type of person you want as a partner, because they're flipping the bird to you, to your desire or lack thereof, and putting themselves on a throne like I am king or queen and everybody owes me, and how dare you refuse me? Who do you think you are? I deserve whatever I want. Oh, really? Delusion. Delusion. So let's talk about sexual narcissism. You know what communal narcissism is. Let's talk about sexual narcissism. And he is definitely one of those. The fact that you would come out your neck and say something about your partner, "Oh, you don't want to do it, I'll do it with somebody else." He doesn't give a shit about why you don't want to. A healthy person would open up the lines of communication and say, babe, what's wrong? Did I make you mad? Are you mad at me? Or do you not feel well? Did I say or do something wrong? What's going on? Hopefully, not always, but hopefully your partner will communicate with you the reason why they don't want to. If someone doesn't feel well, they're sick, or she's got cramps, or whatever, the monthly thing is going on, and she doesn't feel well, that is not romantic. That is not conducive to getting it on. It's just not. I mean, let's just be smart. And if you got the mentality that you just gonna go be with somebody else, I wish somebody would tell me something like that. I tell you what, you could go be with her forever. That's not a threat, bitch. That's makes my life easier. Bye. Okay? I don't give a damn. Do what you got to do. That is not a threat to me. Keep it moving. Whoever you go to, you can stay over there. You keep your butt right over there. I am not playing with these fools no more. So that's just that just shows you the grandiosity, and that just shows you the entitlement. And his justification, which is bullshit. I treat women like a lady, and I take her to nice places, and I don't expect anything in return. That's not true. That's not true. He sees all women as sex objects, and he feels, and he's going to talk about sex whether you want to talk about it or not. Which is a massive turnoff, because your obsession with sex does not erase the fact that you're an arrogant bastard and that you started lying to me repeatedly, which I've never known him to do that in the past. They get worse as they get older. My God, did he get worse? And dealing with him was unbearable, which is why I cut him off. And I'm not going to tolerate a fucking liar. I'm not lying to you. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Unlike a lot of people that say a lot of things and they don't mean nothing that comes out of their face. I'm not one of those people. If we say do lunch Sunday, we're doing lunch Sunday. Now, if a hurricane is coming or a tornado is coming, we may have to change plans. But I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear repeatedly. That's just not who I am. But I'm also not a lying ass, pathological lying narcissist either. So let's talk about sexual narcissism. A sexual narcissist has an egocentric pattern of sexual behavior marked by a sense of entitlement, a grandiose view of their sexual prowess. They think they're the best in bed, is what that boils down to. And a lack of empathy for partners. Right. And a lack of empathy. You don't want to give it to me. I get it from somebody else. Ugh. Go on over there then. You think I'm going to cry for you? Shit. This can manifest as manipulating others for sexual gain, focusing on their own needs rather than their partners, and a general disregard for a partner's feelings. This behavior can be a defense mechanism for feelings of inadequacy and is linked to lower sexual satisfaction for both partners. Key characteristics of sexual narcissism: sexual entitlement, a belief that they are entitled to sex and that their needs should be prioritized. Who cares what you want or what you think or if you're in the mood or not? Who gives a rat's ass? Let's go. That's their mentality. Low sexual empathy, a general lack of concern for a partner's sexual feelings and needs. Sexual exploitation, a willingness to manipulate a partner to achieve sexual access. Grandiose sexual skill, an exaggerated sense of their own sexual abilities. Again, they think they're the best in the world, which is a load of bullshit. You cannot be the best when you don't have the ability to connect to somebody. You're shit in bed. Let me slap you with some fucking reality. You are shit in bed if you cannot mentally connect to somebody. No one wants to screw a fucking mannequin. Egocentric focus, communication, and behavior center on their own sexual satisfaction, not their partner's. Possible causes and impacts. Compensation. This behavior may stem from or compensate for underlying low self-esteem or feelings of sexual inadequacy. Lower relationship satisfaction. Sexual narcissism is associated with decreased sexual rewards and satisfaction for both the individual and their partner. Exploitation and aggression. The lack of empathy and sense of entitlement can lead to exploitative and aggressive behavior towards sexual partners. Okay. He does the reverse mindset. He does like a mind screw. Basically, because he doesn't come off like a horn dog, if he pretends he's a gentleman and he kisses you on the cheek instead of trying to throw his tongue into your throat when the date is over, he don't make a move. He don't try to slide his hand up your dress in the car or any of that. Okay, he doesn't do any of that. So he thinks because he's not so obvious about wanting it, that makes him exceptional to any man there is. I don't act like a dog. I don't come off like I'm in heat, like other men. And he had me tricked with that for many years. For many, many years. You know, I'm a gentleman. I kiss them on the cheek. I kiss their hand. I don't grope them in the car or start heavily breathing all over them and grabbing things. I'm not obvious with. He's just basically Joe Slick. So a lot of women, if you don't, because men are so aggressive about chasing butt, we're going to keep it raw today. Because men are so aggressive about chasing booty, he doesn't do that. He comes off like he's an innocent lamb. I'm not going to come off like I really want you real bad. So then women start to question themselves because they're used to men being aggressive. Let's just keep it real. They're used to men being aggressive, dropping sexual hints in the first conversation, dropping sexual hints on the first date, second date, or whatever. They always have to throw sex into the conversation, regardless of their age. They all act that. Okay, the majority of them do that dumb shit. Well, what are you doing? I'm putting a roast in the oven. Oh, so you're bent over with your ass in the air? I like that. Okay, that's their mentality. Your typical man, that's their typical mentality. Every guy doesn't do that. There's probably 5 in 100 that don't do that. Okay, and believe me, we love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. We love you. But the rest of y'all, get out of here. But he does the reverse thing. So then women, because he's not aggressive about chasing it, women start to question themselves. Am I not pretty enough? Am I not sexy enough? How come he's not coming after me? I don't understand. Is he gay? What's going on? Because she's used to men that act like dogs. So when a guy doesn't do that, she's like, oh, what's going on here? And some women appreciate that so much that they come on to him because they're turned on by the fact that he doesn't act like a dog in heat. So he gets it by acting disinterested. You see what I'm saying? It's a manipulation tactic. That's what that is. It's a manipulation tactic. When I told him that I was engaged to this person, I didn't tell him at the time because there was a lot going on. And he had the nerve to be jealous about it. The engagement ended because I'm not going to marry a jackass. I'm just like, I was already married to a jackass. I don't want to do that again. So he had the nerve to talk real weird. He said, well, You were engaged to that guy? I mean, why? I mean, what do I have to do? Do I have to get you a ring? He wasn't interested in being married again, and he had no business getting married the first time he did it. But he went into competition mode. Oh, you were engaged to him. How come it wasn't me? Because there's things about his personality that I didn't like, and I didn't even know he was a narcissist at the time. He hid that from me for the longest time. And when he'd go into his little psychotic episodes, which is what narcs do, they start acting off the wall. Their behavior's insane. They're irrational. They're angry in 1 minute and happy the next. They're fucking weird. So when he would drop off, he would disappear for long periods at a time. And then when he was quotation marks back to normal, he would resurface because he was trying to hide who he was, and he was very successful at doing it. He didn't want to get married the first time. What in the blue hell is he talking about? What did you want? You wanted me to get you a ring? In other words, why were you engaged to him instead of me? You can't pay me to be engaged to him. You got to be kidding me. You could have $1 million in a suitcase and offer me cash. Have a lawyer present. This is legit. We'll sign on a dotted line. We'll notarize this and everything else. This is legit. If you marry him, you must be out of your mind. Or I could use $1 million, or I could marry him and get it annulled the next business day. But I guarantee you there would be a caveat in there where you have to stay married for X period of time. So you cannot dissolve the marriage that fast or whatever. But anyway, not moving in your house with you. I'm staying in Missouri. You can keep your ass in New York and I'll get it annulled as soon as I can, the next business day. Anyway, meanwhile, I keep $1 million. Gotta be smart about this. Anyway, so a lot of men are narcissists and a lot of men feel entitled. I paid for your dinner, didn't I? I know it was just the first date, but I paid for your dinner. In other words, you ain't worth more than what the dinner cost. I want you to think about that. Let that sink in. You ain't worth more than what the dinner cost. Now, if that's not insulting, I don't know what is. I want to tell you something else. Very, very intriguing. And this came from a man. A couple of men on YouTube said this. And they are so right. They said real men are providers. Real men take care of their families financially. When a man loves you and he does the bare minimum for you, he does not love you. When he does the bare minimum, he does not love you. This is coming from men. Men are providers. If anyone wants to whine about how much dates cost, he has no business dating. Okay? If, like what happened to me with the previous ugly ass narcissist, a scarecrow looks more attractive than him. He started to fade to black, took me on a couple of dates, and then just went silent and didn't talk about any more dates. Because the little fucker didn't want to spend his money. He'd rather spend mommy and daddy's money. And mommy and daddy are not going to pay for your dates. They might be paying for your bills in your house and your vehicle and the remodel on your house, but they're not going to pay your fucking dates too. Okay? You greedy bastard. Anyway. Anybody who doesn't want to spend money to take you out, anyone who doesn't want to impress you, and I mean long term, not for a couple of months when they burn out on being fake. Consistency is the key. Consistency is the key. Okay? Shira7 is on YouTube talking about you need a man who has money. You need a man who's going to take care of you financially. She's lucky that she found one because a lot of them are narcissists. And when men are narcissists, they are very stingy with their fucking money. They don't want to spend money on you. They're very selfish. Very, 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 very stingy. Not when it comes to them. Oh, no. No, 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 no. Not when it comes to them. Okay? They're very, very stingy. If they want a brand new stereo system in their vehicle, believe you me, baby, the cost is no problem. If you want a stereo system in your vehicle, you must have fell and bumped your head or something, because that's not going to happen. That is so not going to happen. But yeah, he was jealous that I was engaged to somebody else. I don't know. It was his insecurity. Because he thinks he's an amazing man. I'm an amazing specimen of a man. You should want me, not someone else. So you can have multiple types of narcissists wrapped in one. Because he's, your average run-of-the-mill narcissist, selfish, no empathy, lying. I've never known him to be a liar until recently. Well, several months ago. I've never known him to be a liar. Never. He always did what he said he was going to do. And then he just started lying to me, and I started to see things that I didn't see before. He's very insecure, but he comes off like a peacock. What does a peacock do? Make themselves look bigger, spread their feathers. Look how huge I am. Look how beautiful I am. And underneath all of that is insecurity for a narcissistic person. They are a puffer fish. They make themselves look a lot bigger than they actually are. And underneath all of that, they're like the Wizard of Oz. The little scared, frail man behind the curtain is who has that loud, intimidating voice. And then when you see it, the person, he's just a little mousy guy hiding behind a curtain. That's a narcissist for you. They come off bigger and better and untouchable because I'm so amazing. And it's all bullshit, and it all hides insecurity underneath all of that grandiose mentality, and I'm amazing, and women know that I'm amazing, and they'll do anything in the world to be with me sexually. That isn't true, because if that was the case, you wouldn't have been sniffing up my damn skirt all these years. And if he was so amazing in bed, because we used to be involved with each other, if he was so amazing in bed, I would break my ass to go be with him. But once I get turned off by you mentally, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Okay? And we're going to get raw for a minute. We're going to get extra raw. We're over 18. I've seen comments where men have said, oh, you women will stay with him if he's got a big Johnson. If he's endowed, you'll stay with his ass. Let me go ahead and dispel that bullshit right here, right now. He is endowed, and I cut his ass the hell off. I don't care if it hangs all the way to your ankle, and you have to put it in a special holster before you put your pants on so you could hide it. If you do not turn me on mentally, I'm done with you. You don't take care of me. You don't protect me. You don't protect me and look out for me financially. You're selfish with money. Man, the Sahara Desert ain't got nothing on me. As far as drying up down there, you must be crazy. I don't give a damn about your fucking endowment. My ex-husband was endowed too. And believe me, everybody's had a sample of it. Everybody he poked while we were together, they got a sample of it. Okay? He's a community pecker. Everybody gets some. We're getting somebody pregnant while we were married. Anyway, move right along. People have no soul. They just don't have any soul. No self-respect either. But yeah, that's a myth. Oh, you'll stay with a guy. You'll tolerate anything as long as he's hanging. No, that's incorrect. Because the biggest sex organ on you is your brain. Contrary to popular belief. Your biggest sex organ is your brain. If somebody is a massive turnoff and a repeated massive turnoff, a woman will get drier and drier and drier and drier down there, and she don't want nothing to do with your ass. She's got to worry about bills being paid because you refuse to come off the money. And you supposedly her husband. She got to worry about you never touch her during the day, but all of a sudden you want her to hop your bones at night. Or you want to hop her bones. You haven't touched her all day, and all of a sudden she's supposed to be hot for you? What delusion is going on in your head? You need your head examined. You don't hold her hand. You don't put your arms around her. You don't flirt with her. You don't say, oh, baby, you look hot in that dress. You better get out the door. I know you're going to work, but you're going to mess around and get late. Now get on out of here because you look sexy as hell. Get out of here. Quick kiss and you're out of here because I'm telling you right now, that dress is going to get you in a lot of trouble. You don't do flirting. You don't do none of that. And you really honestly expect somebody to be hot for you? Oh, God. You're living in a fantasy world. That's all I can say. We are not microwaves where you just press a button and we're ready to roll. Maybe some women that you know are super hot. You look at her, she gets soaking wet because you glanced in her direction. Some of us don't do that. We get turned on intellectually. We get turned on when we're protected. We get turned on when you act like a man and you take the worries of the bills off of our mind. You handle it. You protect us. You're there for us emotionally. You step up to the plate when we don't feel well. Those are turn-ons. You help us around the house. You cut the grass without us saying 50 times, can you cut the grass? Can you cut the grass? Honey, are you ever going to cut the grass? It's getting so tall. None of that shit gets women hot. None of that. It just doesn't. It just doesn't work like that. I heard on the radio years ago, oh, women get more turned on when their man helps around the house. Well, no shit, Sherlock. I could have saved you all the money that you spent doing a survey. I could have told you that for free. You take any kind of pressure off of her, it frees her mind to be turned on by you. However, if you try to be slick and act like a nice guy so you can get laid, and then the very next day you start acting like a horse's ass, it'll be a cold day in hell before you get it again. And I told my husband that when we were married. I said, oh, you want to act like an ass because you got some last night? When we were married. Play with me if you want to. I could turn my goddamn sexual drive off like a fucking light switch. I can turn that shit completely off. And let's see who could go the longest without it, because you will lose by a massive margin. Of course, he was banging other people. I was just the wife, so I was somewhere around the pyramid. Not on the top of the pyramid, because whoever he's been banging way before he met me is at the top of the pyramid, regardless of me having a ring on my finger at the time. That ring don't mean shit to a narcissist. Your vows don't mean shit, jack shit, and diddly shit, and diddly squat. It don't mean nothing to a narcissist. Their children mean nothing. You mean nothing. Your wedding vows mean nothing. The fact that you have a terminal illness and you're dying means nothing. The fact that you're very, very sick, you're not terminal, but you're just very sick with the flu or whatever you got, it means nothing to a narcissist. They're pissed off that you didn't make dinner. I know you feel like somebody jumped you into a gang. That's how sore you are all over your whole body, but you didn't make dinner, you lazy bitch. And you think that we're going to be turned on by you. I don't give a shit if it's so long, it wraps around the block at least one time. You ain't getting shit from me. Why in the hell do you think in the movies when the guy saves the girl from the other mean guy or from the monster that's coming after her, he saved her life? Why do you think she falls in love with him? Because she was turned on by the fact that he protected her, which is something that a lot of men don't do anymore. There's certain criteria that comes with being turned on. It doesn't have nothing to do with you pressing, touching, and whatever. stroking and whatever, squeezing. It ain't got shit to do with any of that. It has to do with our biggest sex organ is our brain. You don't please us up there, you could go on somewhere. That's what you could do. Okay? So you learned about a couple of different types of narcissists. And yes, one narcissist can be more than one different type of narcissist. This one is a communal narcissist. He's also a sexual narcissist. There's another one, and I can't think of the name of it. It's where a narcissist is in love with their appearance. They have to work out in the gym. They have to wear sleeveless shirts all the time to show off their muscles. Let me see if I can find it. Appearance. Okay, you just gonna give me all kinds of God dang it, you son of a bitch. I'm sorry, my screen's acting freaking stupid. Hold on. What type of narcissist is obsessed with their appearance? People with narcissistic traits often have codependent relationships with their parents. This can involve. All right, that doesn't have nothing to do with what I asked you. With their appearance. A somatic narcissist. A somatic narcissist. So there's different types of narcissist. Some of them can have multiple traits of other types of narcissists. So you do have a somatic narcissist where, like I said, they work out in the gym. You'll never see a hair out of place. Some of them they get manicures, even if they're men. They'll get manicures. Nothing. Their clothing will be perfect. I knew a guy like that. He's not a show off with muscles, but he dresses to the nines all the time. You would never see him wearing inexpensive clothes. He is a narcissist because when we went out for the first time, all he talked about was himself, 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 and himself. Not only that, but he was deliberately late on the first date. And there was no excuse for it. He started a project in his house on purpose, knowing it would make him late because he's trying to establish that he's an asshole right out the gate. And I want you to be comfortable with this, me being an asshole, because I'm going to start doing it right away. He knew god dang well when he started that project he was going to make him late. But he wants you to be accustomed to, and you're going to be trained to accept his bad behavior right out the gate. You're in training. You don't realize you're in training, but you're in training. So somatic, their hair is always in place. Everything is always in place. Their clothing is going to be perfect. There's a lot of gym rats, people that live in the gym. A lot of them are somatic narcissists. They wear tank tops all the time, especially men, because they have to show off their muscles. And they love it when women go, "Oh my God, you must work out in a gym." And the woman squeezes his muscles and he's like, "Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not saying that if you wear tank tops, you're automatically a somatic narcissist, but there are narcissists that do show off their muscles on purpose. They need the admiration, or they need to dress very, very, very well because they know that it gets them a lot of attention from men and women. Men are like, "Oh, that looks like a double-breasted Italian suit. That's nice. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate that." Not everybody who dresses nice is a narcissist, but somatic narcissists need to have a certain appearance so that they can get feedback, positive feedback from other people. Makes their ego feel huge, bigger than it already is. Anyway, you learned about different types of narcissists. You guys take care. Much love, and I'll talk to you fine folks later. Bye.